And I had no idea what drill rapping was, but I called my son, and he sent me some videos, and it is alarming.
Now, I want to talk about this recent situation that happened regarding a couple New York drill rappers getting removed from Rolling Loud. If you don't know what's going on, just yesterday, 3 different drill rappers ended up getting removed from the Rolling Loud lineup, and this was actually at the request of the NYPD, the New York Police Department. I want to check out this article from New York Times reporting on the story. Let's check it out. At least 3 rappers with ties to the booming New York drill scene, which has risen in popularity in recent years, even as law enforcement officials and politicians like Mayor Eric Adams have questioned its relationship to local gun violence, have been removed from the lineup of the traveling rap festival Rolling Loud, scheduled for this weekend at Citi Field in Queens, at the request of the New York Police Department, the artist's representative said. So, Eric Adams, do you remember this guy right here? If you live in New York, I'm sure you know who this is. This is your mayor. But New York Mayor Eric Adams, like I covered back in February, decided to speak out against drill rap.
And I had no idea what drill rapping was, but I called my son, and he sent me some videos, and it is alarming. And we are going to pull together the social media companies.
I can win until we find the block.
That was earlier this year when Eric Adams was speaking out against drill rap. He was calling for censorship against drill music videos on the internet and was just generally strongly condemning it.
Why not empower young people to use drill music to talk about what's great about life?
A lot of people are pushing back on us in the community. 5-Year Foreign being one of them, who in the end actually managed to gather Eric Adams and a bunch of other drill artists for a sit down.
Mayor Adams met with a group of drill rap artists last night. He's criticized the music genre for contributing to the rising violence in the city.
There's been a lot of talk about drill rap, drill music, New York City, connecting violence with the culture.
Late Tuesday evening, drill rappers met with Mayor Eric Adams, who's been critical of their music, saying it's causing a spike in violence.
As for the 3 rappers we're talking about, by the way, the first one is 19-year-old cite. He's out of the Bronx, is really making a lot of noise in the scene right now. The other rapper is Ron Suno, and then the other one is 22G's. So these are the rappers who got blocked from performing at Rolling Loud, the festival. Continuing with the article, because on this next part they explain exactly why and how this happened. The rappers have been affiliated with recent acts of violence citywide, according to a letter sent by an assistant chief at the police department to the festival organizers at the time. The New York Police Department believes if these individuals are allowed to perform, there will be a higher risk of violence. Tariq, one of the founders at Rolling Loud, said then that the festival had no choice but to comply. A representative for Shy K and 22G said this week that the artists were paid in full for their performances. So like you heard, the police department apparently sent a letter to Rolling Loud, and this was the request to remove these artists from their lineup, and so that happened. The reason was, like they said, they've been affiliated with recent acts of violence citywide. 22G's, I remember, recently was involved in a little something, actually maybe not so little. Back in June, 22G's got arrested and charged with attempted murder. The arrest stemmed from a shooting that went down on March 6th when 22G's allegedly shot 3 people in Brooklyn. None of the victims, luckily, suffered from life-threatening injuries, but this is what those attempted murder charges were for. 22G's shortly after that got released and has been out on bond ever since.
Rather get caught up with my gun. One in that head, why would I run? Don't come outside, you ain't got one.
As for the 2 other rappers, by the way, Shy K and Ron Suno, I can't speak for them since I don't know if they're fighting some kind of cases that we maybe don't know about. Regardless of that though, this has obviously made a lot of people mad, especially the rappers in question. So this is all going down in New York, right? By the way, shout out to all my supporters in NYC. But this is happening in New York, right? And it just so happens that the mayor of the city is very much opposed to everything that has to do with drill, and that's gonna create some problems for the rappers. This is not the first time this has happened, by the way. Back in 2019, several New York drill rappers, the late great Pop Smoke being one of them, got removed from once again Rolling Loud, New York, after the same request was made by the NYPD to Rolling Loud. Like in this case, they ended up complying. This is actually something the festival has gotten criticized for by a lot of people in the city. Essentially what a lot of people are saying is, why are you guys acquiescing to this? You know that the police is targeting rappers, especially in our city at a time like this. Rolling Loud, their response was, of course, we had our back against the wall, and as a matter of fact, we had to comply if we wanted to come back to NYC. As for that, I'll just say this, Rolling Loud is a businessman. I don't really expect them to not acquiesce with law enforcement. That's going to put their business at risk and it won't benefit the culture actually, because if Rolling Loud doesn't comply and they can't come back to New York, that takes away another potential outlet for said drill rappers, which doesn't help the culture. The Rolling Loud backlash aside, what's going on here is not happening for no reason. We got to make that clear. A lot of these young drill rappers, they're actually living what they're rapping about. It's not a good thing, but it's reality. So personally, I wouldn't see this as rappers or hip hop getting targeted. I've just seen too much violence going on specifically in the drill community for me to say that. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these stories involve kids. One story that stuck with me is one from this summer actually. The story is regarding 14-year-old Ethan Reyes, professionally known as Nadia Osama. He was stabbed to death at a New York subway station back in July and he was only 14. Another 15-year-old kid who was apparently a rapper as well was charged with the murder in this fatal subway stabbing. A lot of people look at these kids and say they were gang members, what did they expect? What a lot of people fail to realize is the fact that they never even had a chance to expect anything. I mean, 14 and 15-year-olds running around in these streets killing each other. I blame that on the people who should have raised them if anything. It's really sad how a lot of these kids get into this drill rap and drop all these songs about their ops while simultaneously living the lifestyle not knowing where this is going to take them. It's really on the elders, aka the OGs, to school these kids so they can guide them in the right direction. However, unfortunately, a lot of times the people who are supposed to guide them are actually as lost as them.